That is a very key and wonderful practice that as people request a name tag, they are given one. It is one of our practices as well at Wellsprings. And for us, it is a way of grounding, if you'll show the next slide, it is a way of grounding one of our core understandings of doing congregational life in this moment, in this place, in this time, which is that we have a lot of people who come to Wellsprings and are hungry for spiritual community, who one of the first things they tell you is, I'm not a joiner. I'm not a joiner. Again, that's one of those things that if you're really subtle and really sophisticated about it, it's not sneaky, it's not manipulative. What you're doing is just you're working against that natural energy that says, I don't trust. One of the ways that we can work with people and get them to trust the fact that we are a community of integrity is that we give people an opportunity to behave as if they were members and become, in the sense that they are growing spiritually, becoming more spiritually mature before official belonging. It is one of the most key understandings that we have. Because very often congregations can put the belonging piece first. And by doing that, we are putting up a big red stop sign that says to anyone who's ever been injured by a congregation, anyone who ever has any skepticism about church or congregational life, we're saying to those people, you're not welcome here. Now, so much of what we do on Sunday mornings is about low barriers. As people seek to go deeper, we start to raise our sense of the expectations of what it is to act as if you are a part of Wellsprings. And that starts with our small group system. We have 4 different parts of the year in which we're doing different kinds of small groups. In spring and in fall, we have what we call our springboards, which are 8-week consecutive small groups. They start and they finish. In summertime, we have 4-week small bite small groups, and in January, we have 4-week small bite small groups. There is, I was speaking about before, we see it on Sundays, but especially in terms of the small group life of a congregation, there is a very natural tendency to form cliques. To form, in essence, what is a kind of nativist immigration policy. I'm in the door, and I'm going to shut the door behind me. We did not allow that from the very outset, and it is very much a part of our membership cultivation process. Now, when new people sign up, they know that there are these high expectations. If they go into an 8-week small group and they know already off the bat that if they're going to miss 2, we ask them to wait until the next season. That's the great thing about having these seasons. They churn themselves up, they grow for a while, and then we shut them down, and then we build up others as well, too. And in that process, by the way, that's also a leadership generation system. Because as people are leading those small groups, we are raising up other people who are being, if you will, discipled or having an opportunity to grow in those small groups so that they, in the future, might be leaders themselves. So that small group system is all about opening the door and prohibiting the kinds of cliques that naturally can occur. Well, the next thing is what we call Wellsprings 1.0. It is our 3-hour, absolutely required, no negotiating around this, membership class. In that we go over our Unitarian Universalist identity, which we call our DNA, values, beliefs, vision, and mission. By the way, most of the seekers, most of the unchurched folks who we do ministry with, never balk at all when we tell them we have a required membership class they have to take. The only people who balk and push back are people who have been Unitarian Universalists before. That is the truth as we understand it. Move on to the next slide, please, if you would. The way that we do New Member Sundays is we cultivate a cohort, a group of people, so that they are joining with them. So it's not an individualized decision. It is their individual decision. But once they make that decision, we understand that we are helping them to form relationships. Because so much of what allows people to go deeper in congregational life is that people have friends. So we see that process starting immediately when they join. A lunch is thrown in their honor after the new member service on a Sunday by the previous membership class, and they understand that when they join, they will throw the lunch for the next membership class. So it's this sense of always honoring one's own experience and then recognizing that what we're doing by joining is buying into the fact that we exist now in a network of relationships. One of the things that I do, and I absolutely love, it's one of my most favorite parts of my ministry, is that with every new member in the congregation, I sit down and I do a 6-month spiritual growth plan with them, in which I ask them, how is it that we as a congregation can help you continue to grow spiritually here towards your spiritual maturation in this congregation, and we come up with some ways about that. Very often we talk about spiritual practices, because spiritual practices are one of the core values of Wellsprings. And the other thing we talk about is how can you build from the responsibilities that you will choose a deeper sense of relationship. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more. But this is where we're very, very clear in Wellsprings 1.0 and in the 6-month spiritual growth plan that this is like amateur athletics. Everyone gets off the bench and into play. Whether you're a coach, whether you're sitting on the bench for a little while and then you have to learn how to get in the game, eventually we're all going to get into the game. This is a participatory community. And so we have this movement, if you will, from low barriers when people first attend Wellsprings to gradually letting them know that we are a community that thrives through the deep, sustained commitments and the high expectations that we have for people who are members of our community.